Matthew, who before he became Matthew was Levi, and in the Greek it would be Matthion. This guy is well known, mainly because he's the tax collector. Even non-Christians would know about that. He was the author of the Gospel with the same name. Now, what's interesting with Matthew, being a tax collector, I don't think we can grasp how much he would have been loathed by everybody around him, and certainly the other 11.
You're absolutely spot on. A tax collector.
For the Romans.
They were hated. They were outcast, forbidden from going into the synagogue. They were a social pariah. They were considered a traitor. It was absolutely incredible that a tax collector would have been in the lens of Jesus to recruit, to follow him. Just ridiculous. Tax collectors, they were not allowed to engage in any of the temple worship. So think about this. And we miss this if we don't understand it from a Jewish perspective. How important it was for a Jewish boy to be involved in the traditions of the Jewish people, which was all centered around the temple, around sacrifices for the forgiveness of sins. So how could you have your sins forgiven you if you weren't even allowed to get involved in temple worship? Not only were you a pariah in the temporal world in which you lived, but you were also, by being an outcast and by being banned, excluded from the life to come.
Yes.
So it reaches across not just your temporal humanity, but it reaches way into the realm of the spirit, where you have no place. In fact, when you think about Matthew, you need to understand the incredible thing that Jesus has just done here. As a Jewish tax collector, you were worse off than a Gentile, because the temple even had the outer court where a Gentile could step into the outer court. You weren't even allowed to do that.
There's a school of thought, it's not common so much now, that it says he came from Nazareth. He just happened to set up shop in Capernaum because it was a main centre of trade coming from the north and the south, east and the west. He was known as a publicani, but he wasn't the top one. That was an absent landlord, so to speak, who then got people in various points around, in this case, Judea and the Galilee, to collect taxes, and they would extort as much as possible because they had to get enough for themselves, let alone then pass it on to the Romans. Previous to this, it says Jesus goeth up into a mountain and calleth unto him whom he would, and they came unto him, and he ordained 12 that they should be with him, and that he might send them forth to preach. That overlooks the fact that he's not saying what the others felt. This is a political move that is amazing for the time and place. This could be lost here if you didn't know the background to all this.
It could be completely lost.